TGCRequiem. We're here with some more Elves. So we're going to be on the draw here. Not sure that I really like this. I guess we're on the draw. We definitely have a turn to play. This is really not what you're looking for with Elves, but it does have some power. I think we could get lucky, draw one CMC creature off the top, probably about 25% chance of that. Doesn't really allow us for an explosive draw here. I think basically as fast as the format is, we probably have to mulligan this. Well, unfortunately we're going to keep this one because even though it's basically the same hand, we just we're not going to go down to 5. We would have kept the previous hand if we had 5, or had to consider it against going down to 5. Looks like maybe we'll get another Storm replay or rematch. And I apologize if you can hear that noise in the background. I've moved down to the basement for my recordings now. Gonna try and stream a little bit on occasion. I gotta work out the technicalities on that still, but the basement's just a much better place to do that. So apparently the air is turning on though. Hopefully it's not too loud. Okay, so this is actually pretty great. And when I say it's pretty great, I mean it's pretty average. Overgrown Tomb's good here because it allows us to pretend like we're doing something we're not. Pretty sure we're playing Storm based on the opponent's start. And it's actually, well, I kind of almost feel like the opponent is just holding up Remand here. There is a good chance that we just win next turn if we're playing Storm and they don't have the interaction they need at the moment. As next turn, Vizier into Court of Calling is a win. We do have the white mana source we need with Horizon Canopy. Yeah, looks like we're going to get Remand here. So typically the Storm decks only run 2 Remand. So odds are they don't have another one. Should hopefully get a turn 4 win off our opponent, unless they have some combination of spells they can cast here to Grape Shot the Devoted Druid, which they certainly should do if they have access to it. Looks like that's what they're going to go for here. Maybe a Gifts Ungiven. Yeah, there's the... They had to. Good to have them waste their resources on this, but So I mean, the problem is our opponent really could just combo out next turn. If they have some rituals, some cantrips, and a brawl, and it's game over. There's nothing we can really do about it. That is the problem of this sort of matchup where we're kind of doing our thing, they're kind of doing their thing. Game one, there's very little interaction. Opponent has drawn all sorts of lands, which is hopefully good for us. I think we definitely want the Horizon Canopy here. The problem is so we could chord for Azuri if we only attack with the Shaman of the Pack. So if we put our opponent down to 11, if we chord for Azuri, untap and pump, that's 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Yeah, so I think the play here is we could also chord for Devoted Druid on end step. We have the Vizier, which we could cast off of a Cavern, and then we have a couple draws to find an Azuri or a chord for the win. So maybe that's like our backup plan then. In which case we want to hold the Cavern as a way to cast that without being able to be countered. And still, I think we only attack with Shaman. We want to leave the door open, wait to see what our opponent has to do. I mean, we have access to potentially 3 more Azuris, 3 more chords, plus 4 collected companies. So, 10 live draws that we could potentially get off of the Horizon Canopies to hit a winner-winner. Looks like they're going to go for gifts here. So, the no Past in Flames makes me feel like they have a Past in Flames in hand already. Typically I just throw the rituals in the garbage, but if they have a Brawl, they could cast Brawl. They can cast Manamorphose, that nets them a couple mana. Then they could cast Past in Flames, still with 1 mana up, and then start hitting their rituals to chain off. So I think in this case we're actually going to take Manamorphose and Brawl. A little backwards from what we normally do. So now as it is, if they wanted, they could cast Pyretic Ritual, cast Pyretic Ritual. They could cast Past in Flames. The problem is when you're paying 2 for your rituals, it's just not great. Active Shaman, drain for 3. That would put him down to 7. That would give us lethal on board. I mean, right now the plan is still just to go for an Azuri, because if we attack with Azuri and Shaman alone, that's 11 damage. Even if like Heritage Druid were to die. We're kind of in this spot where we just hope our opponent doesn't try to do something. I think they're maybe thinking that they have the potential to try and win, but it's a pretty narrow out. And so I'm hoping their decision here is that this is not the turn to make the play. I mean, if you look at what we have on board, we're not threatening that much. They could be considering the fact that we are just planning to cap these Horizon Canopies. But the fact that the Heritage Druid is sitting upright kind of makes it clear that we need the Heritage Druid for a Court of Calling, unless there's some sort of plan they expect of us collected companying and then hoping to use Heritage Druid to like chain a couple collected companies back to back, which is, you know, potentially feasible for sure. Alright, so they're making a play here. You know, if an opponent is an empty the Warrens sort of person, then we definitely go the other route and we go for Devoted Druid. Because then we're going to need infinite mana to get over all the tokens. So yeah, they had 4 rituals. That's probably just game. I mean, I can't imagine how they botch it at this point. They've got Manamorphose to filter. They have Serum Visions, Gifts Ungiven. It would be... Well, I guess... So, yeah. So I guess the flip side of that is they do not have a Baral here. And so they can't really net so much mana. Oh, now they do. Now they can Gifts. Maybe they can keep this going. That was kind of a one-outer, right? They had to Manamorphose into a Baral right there, or a Goblin Electromancer, and they did. Without that, I think they run out of gas. It's quite possible here they like Sleight of Hand and then remand their own Sleight of Hand. Maybe they're not going to. I hope they fall 1 point short here. That would be fantastic. Manamorphose. Cast Past in Flames again. Sleight of Hand. Yeah, we're dead. They got enough. Plus at this point, if we try and Chord, we have to take some damage off of the Horizon Canopy. Yeah, so they had to hit a Baral where they hit it. I suppose they maybe had one more chance with their Serum Visions in the graveyard, but still. Trixie Dixie. I have a buddy who plays Storm. Hope he enjoys watching me lose to it. Probably back-to-back losses here. Oh, whoops, and I still left the 1-2 from the previous matchup. Let's update that to 0-1 now. They can have a Gifts Ungiven at this point. And I want them to have to cast Past in Flames. So we're going to put Grape Shot in the graveyard. And we're going to probably put Ritual in the graveyard because we don't want them to have a ton of mana. So by taking Grape Shot and Ritual and putting those into the graveyard, you know, they have these two cards that we're aware of. They cast the Manamorphose, cast the Past in Flames. I guess it doesn't really matter. Yeah, so here they're going to remand their own Manamorphose. Yeah, they're totally set. Again, there's almost no way they lose here. There literally should be no way they lose here. Although, did they just set themselves up so that they can't cast Past in Flames again to get to their Grape Shot? Oh no, so sorry, they still have a Grape Shot from before. This is completely over. They're just wasting time now. Completely unnecessary. Storming up way beyond count. I really hope that this takes them to a third game. This is the sort of thing where it's like, there's literally no viable reason as to why you would do this. Or why you need to do this, although it would be pretty sick to, in response, Court of Calling for an Eidolon of Rhetoric. Alright, there we go. Again, they already had a Grape Shot from prior to their first Past in Flames that was able to be cast, so they did not need to go to this other Grape Shot. Alright, so we are going to lose turn 6 here. And my little track rad marked a win turn 4 until they Grape Shotted the Devoted Druid. That's what we get. That's what we get. You don't win until you win. That's why we play the game. Alright, so hopefully we learned something from our previous match. Scavenging Oozes, Rhetoric, Stain the Mind. Primary target with Stain the Mind is gonna likely be Past in Flames. So we're really trying to turn ourselves into a combo deck of our own, of sorts. Though I almost wonder if we leave a couple Dwynen's Elite in, that just does help make the Heritage Druid a bit more consistent. I do wonder if it might be better to peel some number of this other stuff. I do wonder how much Scavenging Ooze really matters here for us. I mean, the fact that you can chord for it, maybe we want 1 and not 2. You know, we don't need it necessarily. Like, the reason we want it in this matchup is to eat key cards that they can't then flash back. I almost feel like maybe we only want the 1 here. I think maybe only 2 Collective Brutality, to be honest. We just don't want to overload our hand with reactive cards. I mean, you can be somewhat proactive with Collective Brutality, but Stain the Mind is really the proactive go-get-em card we have here. I do question whether Collective Brutality is even worth playing here, just because it's eating up spaces in, you know, the part of your deck that's going to make you speedy. I mean, this seems like a clear keep. We want to go Heritage Druid into Devoted Druid. We just have to run that risk of drawing the... not the Devoted Druid, but the Vizier, in which case we might want to name Cavern as human. Sleight of hand, yeah. Okay, perfect. So Blooming Marsh allows us to play the Devoted Druid without having to use the Cavern. And we actually have lethal next turn if our opponent doesn't interact with us. So the extra land allows us to Cavern for the Vizier or cast Vizier if we if we actually physically draw it, and then on top of that we have the Azuri in hand. So combo is together. Kind of just hope they tap out for a Brawl here. Doesn't look like they're going to. We also can chord for Eidolon of Rhetoric, which shuts down our ability to win, like within like a one-turn stretch. Protects us a little bit from, or insulates us a little bit from them comboing out. But the question here is, I guess, the Cavern versus the Gilt-Leaf Palace. So we're going to play Heritage Druid here. Now, if they had countered that, that would have actually set us up for the win right there. But as it is, we're going to just pass. Plan to chord on their turn. And it allows us optimum flexibility to chord for whatchamacallin, the Eidolon of Rhetoric. So hopefully they cast a spell and then we just chord in response. If they remand, we know they can't Anger of the Gods, right? So we're going to add one, untap. Well, do we want to do that? I guess we wait and see what they want to do next, right? Because they may just want to remand. Hold up remand again. The thing is if they're holding a lightning bolt and we go get a Vizier, they could just kill the Vizier and then our combo's dead. This kind of insulates us from that. And we have Cavern to jam the Uzuri. I mean, the best draw we could get here is to just hard draw the Vizier. So now Uzuri can protect our other creatures from an anger. And next turn we potentially have overrun for lethal. A dismember, so I did not expect that. So we might just lose here. Going that line. Wow, I just did not expect a dismember. We tap for we can't do anything to pump that anyway, so I guess that's just gonna die. Opponent has a pretty loaded hand. If they can, it's difficult for this deck to win on turn 4, but far from impossible. I think the dismember is a pretty clear sign that they have the ability to do it. Suppose if they end up going for an anger, if that's how this all ends, that's still okay. They're going to lose the Electromancer. I have not played a land yet. We have 2, 3, 4. 12. 16 overrun. One, two, three. Down to 2, up to 5. They can recast Past and Flames out of the graveyard. Yeah, I think we just take the Pyretic Rituals here. They have the rituals in hand to cast Past and Flames. I think they would have definitely have had the mana to get them up and going if we threw it in the graveyard anyway. So really want to hope that we draw a creature to some extent, an elf specifically this turn, and that way we can play the Gilt Leaf and use that mana to pump Uzuri. I suppose 1, 2, Well, now that's a little different. Now we almost want... Well, I guess that's still... Ugh. We can put enough damage on board that they have to chump with quite a few goblins. One, 2, 3, 4. Plus 12. 16 minus 1. I feel like at this point we're just gonna have to... No, can they just... Oh yeah, so they have Past in Flames in hand still. So they could just Past in Flames, Ritual. Yeah, so they could win next turn off that, or drop another load of Empty the Warrens. I think we're just done here. I don't think there's anything we can do to win this game. I'm just trying to think through how much mana we could get out of Devoted Druid. I mean, we could tap for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Pump with Azuri. Untap to get 3 more pumps. 4. Yeah, I mean, and I knew this was where we were going to end up. We can do that. I mean, we just don't have anything we can do. Yeah. Yeah, we're just gonna concede here. I was just trying to see if maybe like I was misdoing the math in my head, and that like if I pumped it, there might be a way to loop a couple Devoted Druids to have Heritage and Azuri, and then this could, you know, we could attack with maybe them and the Devoted Druid for a little bit of damage. I suppose we possibly could have considered just playing the Llanowar Elf and then holding back for blocks. But again, I just feel like with Past in Flames in their hand, we're going to lose to them either way. So, all right, well that was it. We're just going to concede at this point, and then we'll see you in the next match. Finished 0-2 here, so back-to-back Storm losses. Sometimes you don't draw your sideboard cards, or sometimes they have the answer for the one that you're able to go get. So if you enjoy, please subscribe. On the left, you have a link to the next video in the match in the league. And off to the right, a playlist of matches for Elves. Have a good one.